129. דודי לי ואני לא הרואה בשושנים. דודי לי ואני לא הרואה בשושנים. מי זאת עולה מן המדבר, מי זאת עולה מקוטרת מור מור ולבונה, מור ולבונה. דודי לי ואני לא הרואה בשושנים. דודי לי ואני לא הרואה בשושנים. ליבבתיני אחותי כלה, ליבבתיני כלה, ליבבתיני אחותי כלה, ליבבתיני כלה. דודי לי ואני לא הרואה בשושנים. דודי לי ואני לא הרואה בשושנים. ובי צפון ובואי תימן, ובי צפון ובואי תימן. דודי לי ואני לא הרואה בשושנים. דודי לי ואני לא הרואה בשושנים. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יאללה לי לה 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 לה. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, לה 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 לה. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, יאללה לי לה 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 לה. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, יאללה לי לה 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 לה. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos to all of you. You may be familiar with the song that Gordon just sang, Dodi Li, My Beloved. And it is a song that has echoes from the Song of Songs. Anila Dodi v'Dodi Li, I am my beloved's and my beloved is mine. It's a song about love. And some of you may know that today in the Hebrew calendar is the 15th day of the month of Av. It's also known as Tu B'Av. And in Israel, this is celebrated as a day of love. And that's why Gordon wanted to sing that song about love. I think we all in this world have plenty of hate and anger and fear, but I think what we all need is more love for one another and more love for ourselves. There's someone here who our community loves very much, and that is Jonas Slater Lewis. This is his bar mitzvah weekend. We are going to be celebrating his bar mitzvah tomorrow morning, and Jonah is going to be helping us to lead the service tonight. So a mazal tov in advance to Josh and to Anna and to all of Jonah's family and friends who are gathered here. We'll be talking about that more tomorrow. Special shout out, even though I know he's here as a civilian tonight, my colleague, Rabbi Jonathan Slater, all the way from the wilds of New York City, right? So we're happy, sort of, the East Coast. So we're happy you're with us. And we're going to start by inviting Jonah to come up to the bima, along with Josh and Ellie and Anna and Mike. to light our Shabbat candles. And if you want to follow along, the blessing is on page 120.
Sure.
Use the big one. You can use this or the big one, whichever you want.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We're talking about Tu B'Av, a holiday about love, and I was trying to think of which of the introductory Shabbat songs, Kabbalat Shabbat songs, reflected that theme. There's Shalom Alechem, which is about peace. There's Yedid Nefesh, which is sort of about friendship, the intimate friendship between God and people. And then there's Lecha Dodi, which is close, I think, to love because it's about the marriage, in a sense, between God and Israel. We're welcoming the Sabbath bride into our midst. So, Gordon, if you would lead us in Lecha Dodi, let's sing that tonight, and you can find that on page
138.
138. Thank you. And we're doing which stanzas again?
We'll do 1, 2, 8, 9. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad hishmiyanu, el hamyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad, shemu tiferet b'lit hilah. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechuvanecha ki hi mekor habracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof maaseh nachat etila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Yamin u'smol tifroti v'et Adonai ta'ariti v'al yad mishben parti v'nismacha v'nagila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret balagam b'simcha, u'v'tzola tochem unei am segula. Boi chala, boi chala. Lecha לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
Please remain standing. The Chatzi Kaddish is on page 144.
Yitkadav, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Yamad Yivrach, Yeruteh, V'yamlich Malchuteh, V'cha Yechon U'yom Echon, U'chayei D'chol Beit Yisrael, Bagala, Bagala, U'vizman Kahariv, V'yimeru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach, Le'olam U'ol Me'almaya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitpa'ar, V'yitromam, V'yitnaseh, V'yithadar, V'yitalev, V'yitalal, Shemida Kudasha Barichu, Le'ela Mikol Birchata V'shirata, Tushbechata V'nechemata, Da'am Yama Ve'imeru, Amen.
Page 146.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Please join me in English at the top of page 149. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרוהו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Please join me in English at the top of page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא תהילות עושה אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע הים לפני משה ומרים. זה אלינו ויאמרו, זה אלינו ויאמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש.
Page 161.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will.
Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al
Yerushalayim.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. Hamidenu shomreinu l'chayim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. Hamidenu shomreinu l'chayim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Shelter us beneath your wings,
Amidah is on page 164. Our minhag, our custom here at CBS is to do the first three blessings together, and then for each of us to continue praying this section of the liturgy, each of us in our own way. And I ask you to please be seated after you have finished. But for now, please rise, page 164.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibur Ha'anora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Ha'kol, V'zocher Chazervot V'imahot, U'mevii Gula L'fnei Bneihem, L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach U'malei, Baruch atah Adonai, Avraham V'ezrat Sarah, Hagibur Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei HaKol Harav L'Toshiach, Mechayei Chaim V'Chesed, Mechayei HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofer Kohodlim, U'matir Asurim, U'mekayei Emunato, V'yishenei Rafahar, Michamocha Bal Givurot, U'milo Melach, Melech Mimid U'mechayeh, U'matzmiach Yeshua, V'nehemach ala hachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh ha'akol. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Page 178. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech Adom B'chol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech Adom L'chol hashalom. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov b'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael. V'chol eit uv'chol sha'a b'shlo Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Hasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Hasim Leolam. Hasim Leolam.
At this point in our service, we pause to think of those in need of healing on this Shabbat, healing of body, healing of spirit, and healing of heart. And we ask God to bestow the bracha, the blessing of refuah shlema, full and complete healing on the following men and women from our CBS community or those known and loved by our congregation: Lynn Feingold, Ilana Massey, Kevin Brackett, Michelle Camissia, Joshua Hyman, Diane Butler, Jesse Friedman, Beverly Eigner, Ed Eston, Marjorie Gilberg, Michael Blend, Jim Mates, and Scott Cohen. And if anyone has a name they wish to share, please do so. The Misha Berach prayer is on page 511.
Find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheverach imotenu for habracha. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos again to all of you. Special welcome to those of you who are here from out of town or with us for the first time. You are always welcome, and it's great to see you, and maybe we'll get to talk a little bit at the Oneg afterwards. I mentioned at the outset of services that this day in the Hebrew calendar is the 15th day of the month of Av, known as Tu B'Av, a day about love. But this is also a day of Torah because it's Shabbat. And the Torah portion for this particular Shabbat is called Ve'et Hanan. It's from the very beginning of the book of Deuteronomy, the last book of the Torah, chapters 3 through 7. Now, Jonah is going to be celebrating his bar mitzvah tomorrow, and he's going to be reading from this Torah portion, but he's also going to be teaching us about this Torah portion in his Devar Torah, his drash, his speech, tomorrow morning in a way that I think is going to be far more erudite and compelling and engaging than anything I can offer you this evening. But I do have a couple things I'd like to say about it myself. But don't worry, Jonah, I'm not covering any of the territory that you're covering in your speech. So in this Torah portion, which represents really the beginning of Moses' farewell speech to the people of Israel, Moses communicates with the people of Israel. And he knows that God has told him he's not going to be allowed to enter the promised land. The Torah portion in some ways represents his last attempt his very last attempt to reverse the decree that he is going to die before crossing the Jordan River. Moses pleads ve'etchanan. He implores, he even prays to God to change God's mind, to allow Moses, after all he has done, after all he has sacrificed for these past 40 years, to cross over into the Holy Land. But God says, no, never speak to me again of this matter, God says to him. But then God does offer a concession, and God does allow Moses to at least see the land of Israel. And he is afforded this kind of mystical vision of the land of Israel, north to south, west to east. Now, can you imagine the profound disappointment that Moses must have experienced at this moment? This is the end of a dream for him. And by the end of the book of Deuteronomy, it will also be the end of his life. In the face of great disappointment, I think that many of us despair, lament, curl up into a fetal position. Some of us even get angry, but often we act like a victim. What does Moses do when faced with one of the greatest disappointments probably of his entire life? He silently accepts God's judgment. He appoints a new leader, Joshua, to take over. He makes sure that the Israelites have a clear path forward before he departs. And he gives them a farewell speech, basically the whole book of Deuteronomy, that is poignant, comforting, and inspirational. And he says more than once, Chazak ve'ematz, be strong and of good courage. This man who, when he was young, was fiery and angry and sometimes even violent, now 40 years later, is supportive and comforting and loving to his people. Moses is nothing if not resilient. He faces his disappointment with courage and equanimity. He cares more about the well-being and the future of his people than he does about his personal desires or ambitions. In these ways, Moses offers us a model of moral leadership, a vision of what it really takes to lead your community toward a goal, toward a promised land. Moses shows us how to transform a setback into an opportunity for growth, a path from despair to hope, from darkness to light. May Moses serve as an example for us all. May his resilience, maturity, and wisdom guide us whenever we are faced with challenges, whenever disappointment threatens to block our way. As descendants of the people that Moses led and nurtured, we should do no less. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be God's will. We are going to continue with the Aleinu now on page 586, and I would ask you, if you are able, to please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
Please be seated. I have the honor now of inviting up board member Phyllis Clyde to share some important announcements with you tonight.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Tomorrow at 10:30 a.m., we are honored to celebrate Jonah's bar mitzvah. Shabbat, August 19th, join us for a pre-service slice of pizza at 5:30 p.m. and make sure to RSVP online and services at 6 p.m. We will have Alinea Wilmert speaking on her experience this summer with Hands for Peace, an ONEC sponsored by the Cohen-Wilmert family. On August 21st, it will be the first day of religious school, and if you have not already registered for school or have questions, contact Leah. On August 26th, the Paskans and Friends of the Frams will be honoring CBS past President Phil Fram, who will be visiting for his birthday with a special oneg. On Sunday, August 28th, will be the first Shorashim gathering this year. RSVP to Leah via email. And we would like to give warm wishes to this week's birthdays and anniversaries. Happy birthday to Phil Schlein, Maxine Maluso, Carolyn Gill, Levi Dubrow, Barbara Cosson, Rhonda Guggenheim, Eric Harvey, Johnny Laughlin Hagen, Max Lustig, and Jonah Slater Lewis. And happy anniversary to Myrna, David and Jim McDonald. Your 42nd. Wow. Barbara and Mark Gardner, and Norbert and Allison Frost. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. 42 years, what's the secret? Patience, right? Patience and hard work, and lots of love, lots of love. And Jonah, I forgot that it was your birthday this month, so you're not only the bar mitzvah man, you're also the birthday boy, the birthday young man. You get a double, like the double portion of manna in the wilderness. You're blessing us in two different ways this Shabbat. We're going to shift gears now as we near the end of our service. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and of death. We remember and honor those who have died during the past 12 months. Arnold Trombler, Erica Cornelison, Gladys Shubin, Richard Magano, Clark Smith, Stephanie Rabb Axner, David Ernesto Kaplan, Pat Pate, Annette Goldberg, Maggie Sherman, Sandra Benko Fichtenberg, Nicholas Huff, George Montano, Dean Wilson, Norman Charney, David Alpert, Renee Munoz, Michael Kasson, and Paul Dworsky. We also remember and honor the yahrzeits, the anniversaries of the deaths of Lorraine David, Marty David, Armand Fields, Werner Frost, David Bloom, Hilda Lieberstein, Anna Belsman, Martha Miller Sherman, Emil J. Bartos, Patricia Harms, and Gladys Kreisberg. And if anyone has a name they wish to share with us, please do so. The Mourner's Kaddish is on page 598. Please rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei rabbah b'alma divra cherutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayachon v'yomachon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael b'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam ulamei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'ta'ar v'ta'aromam v'tnaseh v'tadar v'taleh v'talal Shmei Dekud Shabarichu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. May the source of peace grant peace to all those in mourning and comfort to all those who are bereaved. And let us all say amen. Please be seated. Before I invite Jonah to come back up for the Kiddush and Motzi, we have a final song. And Gordon, what have you selected to sing tonight?
That's a good question.
We have a birthday, we have Tu B'Av, we have a birthday, we have a bar mitzvah. You could do all sorts
Jonah,
of...
do you have a song you would like to sing tonight? No? All you have to do is say what it is and I'll do it. You don't have to do anything else. But that's all right. We can wait till tomorrow.
All you need is love?
All you need is love. I was. You read my mind. I was thinking it very loudly. Okay. Let's just end with Oseh Shalom, the end of the Kaddish, and we all know that. Although we may not all know this melody. We'll try it. Oseh Shalom bimroma, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh Shalom bimroma, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh Shalom bimroma, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ya'aseh shalom. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'yakol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'yakol Yisrael. Oseh shalom bimroma, yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimroma, ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimroma, ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'yakol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'yakol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'yakol Yoshvei Evel.
Jonah, come on back up here. And I'd like to ask everyone else to please rise. Now, a couple days ago, Jonah and I were talking, and I learned, unbeknownst to me, that you know the entire Kiddush. We sometimes do the shorter version here, sometimes we do the longer version here. I know you know the very long version of it. So I'm going to let you decide which version of Kiddush you would like to do tonight, but everyone else can follow along on page 122 and 123. So which one do you want to do?
I've been waiting approximately 12 years and 364 days to do the really long one,
Okay.
so
Well,
here
here you go.
goes. Vahi erev vahi b'yom hashishi, vayechulu hashamayim v'ha'ha'aretz, v'chohol tzivaham, vayichal Elohim b'yom hashvihi, mehelachto asher asa, vayishpot b'yom hashvihi, mihikol melachto asher asa. Vayivarech Elohim et yom hashvihi, vayikadesh oto, ki vo Shabbat mikol melachto, asher bara Elohim la'asot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitanu mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon inchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים, כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת, מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך, באהבה וברצון, הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש השבת. Amen.
L'chaim.
L'chaim. Well, that was worth the wait. 13 years almost. And,
Yeah.
and 13 years, and you finally got to chant Kiddush, but you still can't drink it. So I'll do it on behalf of you.
Thank you.
And actually, I think it's grape juice, so you probably could have had it anyway. We have a wonderful oneg waiting for us in the social hall. Thanks to everyone who set up our oneg. It's beautiful, and we're excited to celebrate Shabbat and in anticipation of Jonah's bar mitzvah tomorrow. So would you lead us all in the motzi?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
B'te'avon. Shabbat Shalom.
I thought you were going to go, Baruch El Asher Bara. Okay, well.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat.